I started with interviewing my dad because I figured that he would know a thing or two and remember things about Mexico during the 1990s. I wanted to know what he thought about the 1990s and what was his take on it. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about how Salinas was indeed a good president and good for our country due to all the things he brought up during his presidency, but he simply just ran out of gas at the end and made pretty costly mistakes at the end. Then, I asked him about what he thought about Cedillo, and surprisingly, he spoke quite highly of him. This surprised me the most because of the whole crisis thing, but overall this made me think differently. Now, I didn't look at Cedillo as a bad guy, but I looked at him as someone who was simply just caught under the mess of someone else. But when in fact, he was the one who fixed the mess. Also, I found out that Cedillo actually paved the way for the PAN to win the next elections. With his help, he limited the cheating in the elections so that they would be more fair. He did this by implementing that the elections should not be controlled by the government. In effect, the PAN would finally have a chance. I came to the conclusion that this interview is relevant to BOC because it made me think differently and made me get a different and more personal perspective. Overall, this interview made me think of all the things from a different POV. It made me realize that although the book talks about all the bad things that Mexico went through those years, like the crisis, the murders, the cheating, the corruption, the Zapatistas, it made me think of all of it made Mexico what it is today. The natural laws of supply and demand are in. There's less cheating, less corruption. There's more empathy and more people helping out the lower social classes every single day. It might not have made Mexico a first world country like people were and are hoping for, but it made Mexico a country with extraordinary character.